What up with it, man?
Yo, yo, yo. We in here. Unspoken Conversation, episode 92.
Yeah, man. We getting up there.
Man, you know we got a special guest in the building, my alter ego for the weekend on this Halloween 2020. You know, life is about evolution. You know, I started this shit Friday night. You know what I'm saying? So it's your boy Antoine the Source.
Your boy Fresh the Charming Asshole.
Man, it's knowledge, man. Happy Halloween.
And we got my boy in the building, a.k.a. Sleazy E. OG Sleazy E, if you really, really respect him. But
minus the glycerin. You know, this shit was curly, slick, wet. It was wet.
Nah, that's why I said Sleazy E.
Yeah, that's right.
Not
that's
me.
right. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
Sleazy E.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I ain't gonna lie, man. I had to get into the spirit. But honestly, this is some last minute shit. You know what I'm saying? I actually had the idea to go as Easy E this year, actually. But the wig I ordered for my Instacart, instead of them niggas letting me know that they didn't have it available and see if I wanted it, he just delivered this shit.
Like, he'll take it.
Right.
That's
all.
Damn.
So I get my damn order. I'm like, what is this? But I got to make this shit work. So I had to put something together. I had my White Sox hat ready to go. I had my hater blockers on. And these motherfuckers going to do some shit like that. But you know what, man? You know, I'm fluid. I was able to make something happen. I was resourceful. And so today on this actual Halloween, you know, yesterday he was an OG, you know, and life is about evolution and he's evolved and so he's woke. So say hello to the new Sleazy E. So man, what y'all boys been up to?
Went from gangster to what's Buddy on Menace?
Man, he did a quick bid. Did a quick bid, bro. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is one quick bid.
Yeah.
The enlightenment. Malcolm Little had to become Malcolm X. Behind them walls.
Detroit Red. Oh, Boston Red. What they call it?
Detroit Red.
Detroit Red.
Detroit Red.
Man, what y'all boys been on, man, for this week?
Cleanse, nigga.
You finished? You
Part
finished?
two.
You finished? Oh, you done?
Hey, man, you made it out alive,
Today the
huh?
last day.
You made it out alive, huh?
Today, and I'm about to go get a quadruple bourbon.
No more wall
with
grabbing.
one ice cube.
Yeah,
One ice cube.
no more wall clutching on that pearl or that pearl seat.
Oh my God, bro. Ooh-wee.
You know when it's real, you just grab something.
When you got to get straight in the shower.
Hold on.
You got to get straight in the shower.
Yeah, you can't even put on another article of clothing. Just get the goddamn
nah.
shower, bro.
Yeah.
What you?
Nah, but chilling, man.
What you been on, man?
This week, nothing much, man. This week kind of flew by me. Man,
it got away from you.
Yeah, man. Yep. It is continuous work. So it wasn't too much. Nothing. Oh, yeah, nothing.
Man, so you know how we did our unspoken views, and I hadn't been announcing it, but I've had them the last few episodes. And before we kind of got deep into some things, I got an unspoken view that I realized. You know, it's been obvious, but sometimes it takes one outlandish account or experience to actually bring it to the forefront. So everybody knows a couple of weeks ago, Drake had his birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a dinner and the menu leaked. And so what had everybody up in a roar is the chef served mac and cheese with raisins.
This is news to me.
I don't even know how the fuck you even get that. Like,
This is news to me.
and what that told me, at first I saw it, I'm like, the audacity, bro. Like,
Oh, shit.
and niggas taking the pictures of this shit like this is high class cuisine. You know what I'm saying?
Was they, you sure they was raisins? They
No,
weren't truffles?
it said raisins. This is what the menu said.
Oh, the description on the menu
mac
said.
and cheese with raisins.
With raisins.
And so I always said if you package something the right way, you can sell niggas on anything. You really could. Cause think of your auntie that they don't like to let cook shit that really is instrumental to the menu. The one that can't cook. They let her do shit like bring the rolls.
She bring ice and bring the rolls.
But imagine if she came one Thanksgiving, one Christmas, and she had this dish, the mac and cheese with the raisins, and was like, yeah, y'all try this shit.
Nah.
What you tried?
No.
But all it takes is Drake Chef to say, yeah,
Tried.
Try it. Not only are you gonna eat it, you gonna show it off. Like it's so.
This ain't bad.
This that elite shit. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't want no sweet macaroni.
It shows you. It's like Supreme. Supreme can put their logo on a Hanes T-shirt if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And you would pay $200 for it.
Yes.
If you package something the right way, you can get niggas. And when I say niggas, I don't just mean black people.
Oh, niggas coming all colors.
Huh? No, but when you say niggas, it don't mean it like, and that was just tripping me out though, because I was like, they really serve this shit at a special occasion, not just a regular dinner, a special occasion. And it kind of fucked me up because I'm like, dog, people will take anything as long as the right person is packaging. It's like niggas that eat McDonald's to Travis Scott attached himself
Came out
to
with
it.
that shit.
Niggas was too good for McDonald's just 6 months ago. You know, that was slumming it. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Like I don't eat McDonald's.
Like
McDonald's.
and think of something as simple as the Birkin bag situation. Because I hate that.
Man, I'm so glad you about
we've talked about it, but it's like it shows you if it's packaged in some elitism, like if it means elite, if it means the best, it's just like I think it was Gucci. Gucci or Louis Vuitton, one of them, they're dropping a new article of clothing, the church run stockings. Like they dropping these. Like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, them Gucci
Gucci stockings.
They basically look as torn stockings.
Listen, and the only reason I sent it to my wife, like, you want a pair? She said, I'm not finna be looking like no hoe for no goddamn $190.
Nigga, you gonna pay $230 for some torn pantyhose.
Like just some torn pantyhose.
Oh, they torn purposely.
They come torn.
They come
and then
torn.
it was another brand, I think like Dior or something like that. They have like a shoe that looks like you just went and ran. Like you know how your kids' shoes look after about a week of recess? You buy them like that. Like they trolling us at this point. They just trying to see what
we won't
willing to buy.
If we can find one celebrity to promote this shit, it's gonna blow up.
But that's really all you have to do. Like, think of Birkin bag, and Birkin really like fuck niggas done found it.
That's how Tommy Hilfiger was back in the day.
You know they hate when we touch this shit. It's like the projects.
But like now, but shit, we the biggest consumers of that bullshit.
Before we even get into it, I want people to realize Hermes only makes so many bags a year. So a lot of the ones that you see like on the Real and these other, secondhand retail sites, they are actually, secondhand. They were sold to somebody, and that's why you're able to get them now because they're accessible because you can get them through resale methods. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm like, why the fuck are people literally trying to do status shit? What honestly, if a motherfucker walked past you right now and you couldn't tell if they had a Birkin and if it was fake or not, because most of us don't even know.
Exactly.
We ain't been in the same room as a Birkin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If you show me some shit, be like, this is a Birkin, I'm gonna believe you.
I like the color.
And think about it. I mean, can you really be in the atmosphere around normal people with a Birkin and everybody realizes it's a Birkin, they gonna jack you for it?
No, not even that. It ain't even really that because you can be around people. We see people have them. It's just more about the fact that what's the point? Like, I feel like you should be at a certain point financially in your life to go and buy a $20,000 bag,
right?
$30,000,
$40,000,
exactly.
Like it should be. You should have fuck you money.
You should have multiple properties before you go spend.
But it ain't even that. You should have fuck you money.
Yeah, you should. It's fuck you money. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying?
Like this ain't shit.
Because anything can happen to a person.
And honestly, the shout out to the people that was exploiting Birkin bag. That's what they should have probably led with. You know what I'm saying? You get your fuck you money up to buy this bullshit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a better message to the younger generations past me, because I get it, you know what I'm saying? But I think these young generations, and you got these young generations looking up to a lot of women leadership now, and they need to be mindful on some of they stunting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like what we went through. We trying to erase a lot of shit that we saw in the 90s that we thought it was dope, and we kind of like, now, you know what I'm saying?
I think it was, you're exactly right. But I think nowadays it's more so like, man, I can't really put it into words how it's the same, but it's different. If it makes sense.
Nah, I get
I
it.
think visibility is key because everything is about branding now. And so you got to think, people back in the day, these lines and these brands have been around, but now seeing everyone in them, it gives everybody a little insight on what goes on. And so I actually we got a special surprise for y'all, man. And what I wanted to make sure is that, we came in and we had to talk about the elephant in the room as far as, vanity and what goes on when we basically get a hold of some of my priority shift. Because I think the conversations we have a lot of times are diversions that actually take us away from what's the true, priority sometimes. Because we spend so much time talking about something that becomes redundant and it also becomes an echo chamber. You get what I'm saying? Like, I look at it from the perspective of, it's hard for me to take. Let me take this. I look at it from the perspective. Fuck it. Wardrobe change. Y'all just saw the look.
Fuck it.
Hot as hell in this goddamn wig.
I was wondering how long you was going. I was waiting for that trickle.
I couldn't.
I was waiting to see that trickle. Like,
I couldn't even take myself seriously.
This nigga's a trooper. Right next to the light.
Man, like, God damn it. But
I see why you get so hot right there, because that light. But yeah,
hey man, I got a whole new respect for Luther and them, all them chemicals they had in their hair, them spotlights. Because if you look at them boys used to be, and you could tell they was all up because the sweat never poured. It just stuck there in porcels, like little drips. Like, that's all the makeup.
Beads.
The makeup was water repellent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
some of them niggas, but some of them niggas, it was that booger shit that had them sweat like that. It was,
heart rate about 4 times the norm.
Nigga halfway into the first song, this nigga's drenched in sweat. Like, God damn, how much coke did you do before you got on stage, nigga? Watch a Cat Williams performance.
No, hey, bro,
5 minutes in,
it's uncomfortable.
Drenched in sweat.
It's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the nigga sweat that hard under the lights.
Yeah, because you know it's like, damn.
He be having that Jordan sweat. You know when Jordan, Jordan used to be drinking his sweat. Lick the top of his lip.
Nigga sweating out that goddamn liquor. Talking about he had the flu.
That's last night, nigga. This is last night.
You had the flu, nigga. You had the hangover, nigga.
No, man. But yeah, it's just, I hate that we are at that point because we have conversation that really don't matter. They don't want us in the shit anyways. But I feel like everybody's standards need to become more realistic.
Yep.
It's like, who the fuck? Like, and burgers are not even nice looking bags when we really think about it. It's so many black brands and brands that are under the radar out here that pretty much have things that actually look doper, but because the name is not attached to it,
because the fucking
we
name.
literally look over it.
Yeah. And our thing with names, especially like the Gucci and shit like that, like you'll see a billionaire and you'll look at him, all his suit jacket and everything will be plain, just a plain color. And you'll be like, you won't know he's a billionaire. You'll be like, damn, man, that motherfucker, he just got that old plain ass suit on. Now that might be a $10,000 Gucci suit.
Right.
But we won't know it. Now, us, when we get Gucci got to be all over that bitch. Like,
no, bro, we wear it ugly. We fuck it up, bro.
But no, I'm saying it has to say Gucci on it. So
we wear it because we wear everything that got the goddamn logo on there.
The logo on,
and that's when you can tell when a nigga just got some money. Like, cause we want this shit. Hey, I pay $450. They gonna know I pay $450.
And don't let it be they first Gucci belt or something like that. Cause we like, bro, we not tucking our shirt in the front like that.
Nigga will do everything. They will stretch 17 times to make sure you see that belt.
Bro, check this out. True story. I used to work with this dude. I ain't gonna name his name, dog. But we went to happy hour. You could tell he had just got a little money, so he got him a little Benz.
He got his bonus.
Now, mind you, this is probably 2012, 13.
Yeah.
This was probably a 04 Benz.
Yeah.
Not shitting on him. It was a Benz. You want a Benz, get you a Benz. Hey, that's your thing. The whole time we sitting at the table at happy hour with everybody else, he twirling the key.
Oh, I know.
So everybody can see the shit. He got the Benz key over his knuckles, dog. The whole time like this.
Man, niggas be
like, put that key up.
Niggas be walking around with the damn keychain hanging out their pocket. That's the only key hanging out your pocket.
Is that key? Come on, bro. Knock that
Niggas
shit
just
off.
be sitting. Niggas just be sitting inside the goddamn, like outside on the car,
Yeah.
like doing all type of shit, man. Like,
Niggas be taking pictures in front of other people's cars, too. That shit be killing me, man.
nah, man. That's why we but it's in our culture, bro.
Yep.
Black people have always wanted to show our shit. We wanted to pop our shit.
We got
bro.
some money. You gonna know it.
You gonna know, like it's
know
harder for a nigga to suppress his wealth.
Oh,
That's
man.
when you know
What?
you really been getting money a long time. When
What?
you don't give a fuck who knows.
Because everybody
And
got
they
that.
probably tried. They tried their phase. Like, hey, I'm just gonna be this normal dude. And they're like, man, they woke up one day and were like, fuck it.
Man, because think how hard, think of how hard a rapper gotta be to come out and not be like flashy.
Oh, what? Just be like a plain Jane, like a Kendrick? Like you gotta have
like, 'cause
exceptional
to get on.
lyrics.
Like you have to be exceptional.
You gotta have exceptional
Like
lyrics.
because you got to think most of them make a transition. Like Kendrick, he took a long. He has to come out with masterpieces of body of work. And like
But not to cut you off.
He set himself a high bar.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No, but I'm talking about more like what pushed him forward. It's because a lot of times, if you don't have something that we gravitate to, like think of the Migos, their true impression is more of a cultural aspect,
right?
Fashion, how they market themselves, making themselves cool. What is cool?
Yep.
That is their currency, their social currency. It's not the actual music. They just embody the culture. And then you have somebody like the Kendricks and the J. Coles and things of that nature. Their talent supersedes their branding.
Yeah.
But they're the last rap superstars, I think. The reason I say that is because they don't make themselves accessible on social media. You don't really see them. They're like a phoenix. It's like, because they go about celebrity the ways of the old guard. You had to see me somewhere. But now we have so much access to celebrities, you kind of become numb to them. It's like, I see you every day.
See you every day.
Yeah.
I see you every day.
You know, you're right. I think, and when we really look at it, you got to look at the golden age of Hollywood all the way up into social media. They had a control on who a star, who's going to be a star, how we're going to make you a star, how we're going to make you popular. And then all of a sudden, all the readjustments. You know what I'm saying? Like Twitter, people look at all the other ones like Instagram and they look at Facebook, but Twitter drives is the engine of all of this, man. Twitter, no hands down, you can find all your information on Twitter.
I'm just not really getting into Twitter.
It's cool. It's cool, man.
To be honest, I don't want to sound like the old nigga, but it's fucking confusing.
It is. It is. It's just like a big container of just information, and you just got to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm trying. I know it's uncut. I know that for damn sure. That shit is definitely uncut.
Man, yo, man.
Man, we got a guest in the building.
We got legendary status in the building, man.
Done pulled up on us.
They pulled up on us, man. We appreciate it, man.
First, so let me go on and make this little intermission.
I'm going to give him that Steve Harvey intro.
I got to give the intro, man. First of all, me being from the city of Houston, man, I always got to give our OGs and our legends their flowers. So, man, we are in the presence of Mr. Lee, man, the producer extraordinaire. I feel like one of the embodiments of the soul of the soundtrack of Texas and the region as a whole, man.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you again for pulling up on us, man.
No doubt.
If y'all don't know, you got some Spider, you can just let the audience know.
Yeah, we gonna take it. We gonna take it slow.
We're gonna take it slow.
The reason I say you gotta take it slow, you gotta let it bubble, man. So,
All right.
most recently, I want to say first of all, he's worked with your favorite rappers, legendary status, Holy Grail types.
Yeah.
From the Tupacs, the Scarface, man, the Zeros. Most recently, Nipsey Hussle, man, and actually he's the producer of my pretty much one of my top 3 favorite tracks on the Victory Lap album, Blue Laces too, man. So again, man, just say first of all, just what's up with you, man, today? How you doing? First of all,
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. I'm here.
No doubt, man.
Hey, and so just give the people a little insight about yourself. what's going on with you now currently? Because we told your story, about the past, but I hate always retracting on the past. Just bring people up to speed on what's going on. Give a little bit of your background and just start from there. First of all, I know you from Houston, Texas.
Well, originally from Louisiana.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr.Lee, the career was born in Houston, Texas.
Okay, what part of Louisiana?
I'm from Pineville, Louisiana, right next to Alexandria.
Okay, cool.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
I went to school in Ruston, man. So I
See,
know
there it is. You know what I mean? You right down the street.
Yeah.
Country boys, man. But that's where I originated from. Of course, everybody know I'm a music producer, and I've been doing music for over 28 years. And my goal is to be able to create something that can help my people out. So I've been trying to do it for the last probably 7 to 8 years. I haven't found the success in it yet, but I'm still pushing forward. Right now, I'm venturing off into television. Just did a documentary on myself that we are getting ready to release on Netflix. I'm working on a TV show.
Okay.
It's kind of like All American mixed with Empire, but more on a realer level.
Yeah.
So we are working on that right now. We're working on a couple of movies. I have a movie that I'm working on about my great grandfather that was the original inventor of the airplane.
Oh wow!
If you could put that in your mind,
give us the name of this so we can.
His name is Charles F. Page. If you go to the patents and you Google his name, the patent of the first original airplane is going to pop up, and it's his name on it.
Oh wow!
Before the Wright brothers ever had it done.
When did you find this out?
I've been doing it since I was 6 years old, but I wasn't aware of the patent on it. Right. And I've recently found out about the patent. So we have, undoubtedly we have the proof that he was the first inventor and the first person, not only the first person, but the first black man with a patent on the airplane ever in life.
Damn, that's dope.
Man, that's super dope.
So I found this information. I have it hanging on my wall in my house right now.
So engineering is just in your DNA.
Hustling, man.
Hey, man.
I always wondered why
It's
I would
embedded.
venture in a bunch of things the way I did, and I never understood why I would do it. And I always pushed. He failed a lot on the different lot of things too, but it's just perseverance and wanting to create and do different things is. I always wonder where I got it from.
Yeah,
because I could just think of something and run right into it and start making money with it right then and there.
So to follow up on that, because you mentioned movies, and I know, and I actually was reading, you've transitioned, you've done some soundtracks and scores on movies and TVs. How did you transition into that? And what is your experience with that, like that process? How does it differentiate from just musically for an artist per se, or when it comes to scoring and facilitating in a movie or a soundtrack, things like that?
I mean, it's an incredible difference in it because you don't have to deal with a bunch of personalities when you scoring film and you licensing music. Say, for instance, I did a record for Bobby Sessions, one of the first records and the only records I recorded with him is called Made Away. And it's like a hybrid gospel song pretty much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The record, before the record came out, EA Sports licensed the music to promote their FIFA soccer trailer.
Okay.
So the money that I made for 2 minutes of that music probably was 5 or 10 times more than what I would do if I did a whole entire album on somebody.
Wow.
So it's, when you start stepping to the corporate world with music, the appreciation of it and the value is 200% greater.
And I want to just ask one more question on that. Because I remember in the early 90s, Babyface and them had a real lock on, like, when we did have movies, the importance of the movies, like where the soundtrack at. And now it's not that anymore. And it's good that you in that lane, but can you ask, like, why do you think we kind of strayed away from it, or was it cut off from us?
I mean,
because of what you're saying, though.
It was
how lucrative
it was done both ways.
Okay.
It was cut off from us, and we cut ourselves off from it. When you start getting a bunch of people in a vessel, it starts stopping and clogging up. So when you got 100 people doing the same exact thing, it's just like selling a car, and every dealership has the same exact car.
Got you.
There's no significance or worth of value in that.
Yeah.
We got people rapping all over the place, producers making tracks and selling them for $10, $25.
They fucking
All
up the
of that,
game.
man. I'm glad you cuss because I won't cuss. They are fucking it up.
And I wanted to preface when you talked about, Louisiana, and I really like, where did you get, obviously, through your father, your grandfather and your lineage, your engineering, but when did you start getting into, the sonic part of producing?
My dad is a gospel singer, so I've been playing music for him since
I hear
I
that
was 9
story
years
so
old.
much for me.
Man, for real.
You know what I mean? I played at 2 churches, bro. I was cashing checks and I couldn't even see over the counter. Real talk.
That's
So,
I
you know what I
feel
mean?
like the black church is the
Yeah,
embodiment and the
right.
base of a lot of
They don't get
music
enough
culture.
credit for what they put out there. You know what I mean?
Of course.
They really don't. They don't get enough credit. Black people in general, we don't get enough credit for what we do. My 6-year-old twins, I got 6-year-old twins. They doing their little homeschooling shit.
Mhm.
So it's just ironic enough, man, that we're talking about this shit. They do like a poem every day where they got to go in and look at the punctuations, capital letters, rhyming words that start with TH and all of this kind of shit. Friday, the poem that they had to study and do this shit was about the fucking Wright brothers.
Wow.
He was like,
You about to take this off the wall and just put
be
it
like-
in,
I look at this shit and I'm like, I want to screenshot my grandfather shit and send it to like, this is not right.
right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
But ironically enough, I'm gonna put this shit out here, man. I've talked to a bunch of black institutions, Spelman, the black aviation groups, all of this type of shit. I've reached out to these people and I've had people that reached out to them that's white, not me, you know what I mean? And they reached out to them and like, hey, we want to bring this to your attention that the first airplane was literally invented by a black man in this city. And the motherfuckers didn't even show no interest in
And
it.
it's crazy how much of our history just gets swept
They
up under the
depressing it
rug.
just as bad as I can't even sit here and say, oh, the white man's depressing this shit because my own people
Yeah.
is depressing it. You
And-
know what I
and
mean?
True.
And it's crazy, man. And that's what we need to understand. Like they some of them are programmed and washed.
Yeah.
Like they so
yeah,
washed with
Definitely.
the accomplishment, the personal accomplishments that, hey, I don't want to affect my wallet to make this sacrifice, but somebody
Exactly.
gonna have to.
But
Yeah.
We gonna go ahead.
No, you just coincided with the point I wanted to make about the movie production, music production. You want to know one of the things I feel like a lot of people stepped away from the behind the scenes, the scoring, because the producer became a celebrity. Once the producer became a celebrity, the
Right.
Jazzy Phase, the Timberlands, like you got to think.
You mean like being in front of the camera?
Yeah, they became because that's what the up and coming producers wanted to replicate. It became it's like so it kind of like they didn't realize their true value. I was watching the interview with Rodney Jerkins. A lot of people of this culture couldn't even tell you who he is.
Who he is. He done worked with
But he
everybody.
is the embodiment of a lot of black music and not even just
What?
black music. It's just
Music, period.
and he's crossed
Yeah.
he's crossed genres that we
Yeah.
couldn't even imagine. And you have probably never seen him on a video
No.
in the last 20 years.
That's real.
No.
That's real.
I mean, that's just how it is. But the travesty of that culture being relevant now is that a lot of people that get big records or get the fame, they don't have the money. And then you hear them crying about what somebody did to them when you didn't step into that business enough. When you're scared to tell a person no, or you scared to stand on some shit that you know is going against your core beliefs and values or whatever it is, just to be frightened about the big bag internet or social media, what somebody's going to say about you, then you really don't even need to be in this type of business because it's going to happen. It happens to me a couple of times, and I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I know what my truth is. I'm going to live in it, and regardless of what a person thinks, I'm going to keep moving and doing what I'm doing. That's why I've been able to empower myself for decades and not have to deal with all of the nonsense.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm a publishing owner. I own rights of music.
Yeah.
That's mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I try to teach that to everybody. I live that. You know, everybody that I work with, first question I ask them, do you have your publishing company set up? Do you have first thing they say, well, yeah, I'm on BMI. I say, okay, are you on BMI as a songwriter or a publisher? I say, how many checks do you get? Well, I think I get 4. I say, okay, well, there's 6 checks that you're supposed to get in a year.
Okay.
There's songwriting checks on the BMI, and there's 2 publishing checks that are semi-annual that you get on BMI. You get 4 quarterly checks, 2 semi-annual checks. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that. Okay, well, it's 9 times out of 10 you missing a gang of bread because you don't have your situation set up correctly.
Wow.
And I always try to school people on that. But, you know, in this day and time, everybody wants to start them in the fame and they want it immediately. If you try to push them back or tell them they're not ready or you give them some advice that they don't like, then you meet a lot of resistance in that.
Right.
You know, so now for me, in my situation, I'm saying, okay, you know what? I'm just going to concentrate on my brand and I'm going to do exactly what it is that I want to do. And my contributions are going to be exactly what I want them to be. So I'm going to empower myself and set an example. And hopefully the example that I set, I can lead a lot of other people into it. So that's why I'm getting into film, because at the end of the day, we don't need Hollywood. We don't need none of that. We don't need record labels. We don't need publishing companies to make money anymore. This 2020.
Right.
You know, you got Netflix, you got all these other
There's too many outlets.
sources and outlets that you can release movies on and different stuff like that. So it goes back to what you're saying about the soundtracks. For me, it's a new way for me to say, okay, I'm going to do a TV show. And I'm going to do 12 episodes. On each episode, I'm going to do 4 to 6 new releases every episode.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to license my music to my film, and I'm going to collect money from licensing it on Netflix on that side. And then I'm going to turn around and collect money from streaming it on the other side.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'm actually opening up 2 veins of income that I can make off my music from supplying it to my own content.
So your money making your money making your money making your money.
You're creating your own flow.
Yeah.
So vertically integrated.
Yeah.
And as we speak about that, that was actually why it kind of goes into my next topic, because you're speaking about ownership and owning your intellectual property at all facets. And I feel a lot of times we only pay attention to the show money, the money that is from the actual revenue initially. But there's, how do you set up your long-term goal? Your long-term earnings is really key to withstanding when you're no longer hot. That's how you continue to make revenue off of it. But I actually like the fact that you focused and honed in on ownership, because you got a chance to work with one of the lead voices on Owning Your Own with Nipsey Hussle. Give us a little insight on if you had any experience with him, your correspondence, your relationship with
me and Nipsey called me Unc. You know what I'm saying? I called him nephew, and this is crazy because the last conversation I had with Nipsey was the Thursday before he got killed, and it was a conversation I had to have because I was on the phone with his attorneys, and they were telling me that they were not going to give me any publishing on the Blue Lexus 2 record.
Okay.
Because I sampled something in it. So it's like, well, the sample took this portion, so we're not giving you any publishing. You won't have any publishing on this record. And I was like, well, nah, that's not what I agreed on. That's not what me and my nephew talked about. When I talked to Nip about it, he was pretty much said, hey, I'm giving you half of what I have on my publishing so that you can have publishing on this record. I'm not going to ever allow that to happen to you. I look up to you, blah, blah, blah. That's how we were. And I had to interject him into this conversation. It took 2 seconds. He's like, nah, he's a 50% owner of the masters just like I am. And, that I'm going 50% on everything that I have on this record with him. And we settled it that way. And then that Sunday, he died. He got killed.
How did that impact you, that affect you? Because I felt like he was just on the precipice of actually getting his true flowers as an artist, because he had always embodied, he had cultural currency without the music actually being well known. So I feel like he was clipped right when he was hitting his true.
Man, it was devastating because he was going through, a lot of people don't understand that Nipsey was going through a lot of shit, man. He was getting shit from all over. You know what I mean? You just think about a young man, black man, rapper, trying to cultivate his own neighborhood. You getting resistance from the cops. You getting resistance from the gang that you in. You getting resistance from the people that came up with you because they seeing all of this and they figuring and thinking that they supposed to have more than they have now. Yeah. He was going through all of that. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't even get a chance to even indulge in the fruit of his labor because he was killed. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like he had plans. Like after the Victory Lap record came out, he FaceTime, he was in Jamaica. Hey man, you got your passport? I need to fly you out here like tomorrow. I was like, nigga, I ain't got no goddamn passport, man. Man, I'm gonna get back with you when I get back in the city, man. He was so hyped. Yeah. Then the last time I seen him, I seen him twice. I seen him before he did the whole little sit down thing that he did when he was doing the Q&A. He had did a show at House of Blues.
Yeah.
And he did the Blue Laces record, and we went backstage after the show. So he's like, man, did you see how crazy the crowd was acting with that record? I said, bro, this shit's amazing. He's like, man, it tripped me out.
It gave me chills, man.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? I had already did a Blue Laces 3 track, and we was already in conversation about what we were going to do. So I was able and fortunate enough to have some additional vocals left over. So the Blue Laces 3 record is getting put together right now.
Like,
You heard it first on Unspoken Conversation, baby.
That's a real exclusive right there, man.
Yeah. So I before I know, I wanted to ask you, and that was a good, great story about Nip. But with Pac, how was the studio? How was it different working with Nipsey and then working with Pac?
I feel like they had a lot of components.
I mean, I wasn't actually in the studio with Pac, but I was in the studio with the Outlaws. Which is like identical to him.
Right. Yeah.
It was one and the same, but it was different.
Okay.
It was different because Pac was all about making the music, content. Nipsey was more about a brand.
Yeah.
And building his brand. So Nip didn't work as hard in the studio and as efficient as Pac did, because it would take Pac 2 seconds to do a record. I did 30 songs with the Outlaws in like less than a week.
Damn.
Wow.
But recorded them from
but
beginning
Snoop
to
said that Pac brought that work in.
That's what he did. That's how he was. Nip work ethic was building my brand, making the marathon event, making the victory lap a brand. That's was his whole thing. And then he had a lot of agendas for his city and his hood.
Yeah.
So he put all of that shit before recording records. But then he was a perfectionist too, though. This before when we did the first Blue Laces, I did the record. We was in New York. We stayed in New York for a week.
So you did the Blue Laces 1 and Blue Laces.
I did both.
Like Blue Laces 1
and 2.
Oh my God! Like I thought it was just 2, man. Blue Laces 1 was like, damn, like
that's crazy.
Yeah, I did both. So when we did the first one, we stayed in New York for days, and the nigga never laid not one fucking verse to that record, bro. And I'm like, man, what is going on, my nigga? Like, is you gonna lay this shit or what?
they said he took his time.
Man, it was about 3 or 4 months later. They sent me this record, and I was blown away. I was like, oh shit, because he had did mixtape record to Gotta Be a G, a record I did for Lil Kiki. It was called RSC, and he did that. That's how we got linked up.
Yeah,
he was trying to find me, and he wanted to know who I was, and they ended up. Johnny Shipes was the guy that had him signed. They ended up flying me out to New York, and they flew him out. He had just got fresh out of jail and just started his career up.
Yeah.
And bro, I was like, okay, I listened to the record that he did. I said, oh, this is dope. This nigga can rhyme. So I'm going up there. I'm thinking, okay, well, nigga, I'm finna get in the lab.
He hungry. He about to spit all day.
Nah, this nigga ain't do shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this nigga, man? I left the whole city, bro. I'm 5-6 days deep in this shit. I done made 4 or 5 tracks. I ain't hear
no vocals.
No vocals, bro.
So how did you continue to fuck with him? Because I know some people be like, man, this nigga ain't trying to work.
You know what? We was tight like that. Once we stayed in this condo together.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? We kind of created some brotherhood, and once the record got done and we went back and forth, started talking, then we got our own personal relationship with each other. Once that happened, it was a wrap. And then when the Blue Laces came out, he came down here to Dallas and he did a show downtown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I met him downtown and we hung out. And even when that record came out, when he rapped it, the crowd was going crazy. And he looked back at me and I'm looking at him like, damn, nigga, this shit for real, huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So we went through that whole thing. We worked. We always stayed in touch with each other. I used to get hella frustrated with the nigga because he'd call me out and hype me up. Man, I'm finna fly out to Atlanta. We're going to go work. We're going to go to the drama studio and work. I'm ready. About 4 or 5 months ago, but then he hit me back like, hey, you know, I'm going to do something. And it never happened. Then this one time I got a call. It's like, hey, man, the Victory album lap is done. I cannot finish this shit without you on it. Yeah. I'm not going to finish without you on it. And, you know, come to find out, Blue Laces 2 was like the newest record that he recorded. A lot of records on Victory lap was like 4 and 5 years old. He wasn't doing a lot of
So
recording.
Blue Laces 2 was one of the most
recent
last
it was one of the last records he recorded for the Victory Lap album, and it was very significant too because it was the only record that I ever knew of that this nigga recorded in one day.
But it came from a real place though. When he bled on the,
I couldn't believe that this nigga sent me the record back a day later. He's like, man, I'm finna send you the record. I said, send me what?
Yeah.
Singing this shit.
When you got it, you was like, man, I got to hear him listen to this
I was
shit.
blown away.
And
And
the day-
then he had sent it to LeBron. LeBron was listening to it on the Instagram.
Yeah, that's when I first heard it.
Okay.
That's when I first heard it when LeBron was playing in the back. I feel like he the A&R of the rap game. Like the shit go through him. Like
I'm trying to get him to do the intro for Blue Laces 3 because actually, when he was playing in his first NBA Finals, when he took his headphones off and he was in the locker room.
He was playing it against Miami.
He's playing Blue Laces 1 then.
Damn.
Yeah.
So he was already fucking with it.
So the people may hear some more Nips soon. Like,
Yeah, they're going to hear some.
Okay.
And then, they're getting ready to revise all of his catalog and put it back out.
Okay.
And all of that kind of shit, too. So, it's not a lot out there because Nip was multifaceted and doing a lot of things in this short time here. You got to remember, this dude was in his 30s.
Yeah,
But he had the
young,
wisdom
man.
of a much older man. His poise and character, and he developed that over the years because I've seen him develop from the Crip nigga from the streets to that.
Yeah.
So
I saw the evolution.
Yeah, I seen it hurt firsthand, bro.
do you think him being so loyal to his hood was one of the reasons why he's no longer here with
Absolutely. I had conversations with him about that.
us? Okay.
You know what I mean? And I felt like, when you so deeply involved in a mission and doing something, you don't see all of the discrepancies going around you when you focus on those things. I do that. And then when I get into some shit, I'm like, damn, I did see that shit happen like that. I did. But when you creative and you in that type of zone, you don't pay attention to them flags that be going up.
Right.
Nip in his mind probably thought he was just still
That's
a
your
nigga from the
comfort
hood.
zone.
But he wasn't. He was a figurehead.
And
Right.
can we make actually you mentioned because Nipsey was a fan of Lil Kiki, and I hear that a lot, especially on the West Coast, how much they were fans of a 90s, early 2000s Houston rap. And with me, I feel like I'm from the home of the culture because I'm from South Park. You know what I'm saying? Straight off MLK. So you were my soundtrack a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like
What, man?
so. How did you integrate transitioning from Louisiana? How did you integrate into the Houston scene? How did you get your start there? How did
I was blessed, bro. I was on the run.
Okay.
Dude, I wasn't even trying to move to Houston. You know what I'm saying? I was a knucklehead. I got in trouble in Louisiana. I had a simple burglary case fucking around.
Oh, you on the run for real?
Yeah. So I couldn't get no job. So I was moving that work. I was, coming back and forth to Houston getting pounds of weed.
Okay.
But you can have in mind, I was a church boy.
Yeah.
But shit, I had to switch my game up.
Right.
So I'm coming back from Houston. I get stopped outside of Beaumont in Anahuac. You know where Anahuac
Yeah.
is. I get stopped over there with some weed in the car.
Yeah.
End up running out in the middle of a field.
Oh, you got away.
I got away.
Oh, shit.
My nigga, what I didn't know is that the field that I ran in was where they had the gators at. The alligators.
Yeah.
They got
Hell
alligators.
yeah, it's Martians.
I had no clue.
Shit.
These motherfuckers walked out by me with dogs and shit and missed me. I walked out the shit the next morning.
It was meant for you to get to the age.
It was God's plan.
Destiny.
You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I prayed in that field, and I said,
crazy.
if I get out of this, I never turn my back again and do this shit ever again in life.
Yeah.
And I got to Houston. I ended up playing some keyboards at the Guitar Center. Bumped into a guy that had the same keyboard that I used to work on, and we ended up being friends. I go to his house, help him work on music, and down the street was Big Chief, the VP of Rap A Lot, had a record store right there. I can't make this shit up. And that ended up, he was friend with a guy who worked at the record store. We making tracks, and at that time, we got cassettes. So I'm making beat tapes, and they hear it, and I take a meet with Rap A Lot. And I'm there.
Right there.
Damn.
I'm there.
Rest is history.
Who was the first? What was the first project or the first rapper do you remember that you worked with in Houston?
The very first rapper that I ever worked with in Houston that had a name was Point Blank. Big Time Records was the first record label that I ever did music for and got paid something for doing it. When I bumped into Rap A Lot, that's when my career took off.
Okay.
But Point Blank was the first rapper that ever did a record.
'Cause I know you got a lot of joints on one of my favorite albums. The Life of Joseph McVeigh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And what year was this when you with the rap when you met Rap A Lot? What year?
Had to been the end of 1995. I never forget. It was October when I signed.
Okay.
That was.
So that's why you ended up working a lot with Face and all because at that time, And like, do you? I hate to ask because it's like your kids. You never want to say who your favorite. But who do you get like you feel like you have the most synergy with over time, or you felt like just brought your tracks to life the most? If you had a choice, you might not want.
I mean, it's a tie really. It's Slim Thug and Lil Keke, and really Zero too, man. I can't leave Raw out of that.
Love that.
You know what I mean? Like, those three niggas is like the landscape of my music career. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. And then I got super big records with Face. Nipsey Hussle was on his way to being in that column too. He was really, you know what I mean? Like the records we did were incredible. So, you know, it was a lot of opportunity. But between Slim and Keke, the records that I did for them gave me a lot of opportunities outside of Texas. And it's crazy because I never had to go out and seek no work.
Yeah.
When people find out, oh, this is the nigga that did this is the guy that did that, the Jodeci samples that I did, all of that kind of shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just sprout the interest outside.
So speaking of Slim, like did you work with him when he pre-Neptunes or post-Neptunes?
Pre.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was responsible for that meeting happening. You know what I mean? When we started doing our records together, that's when the meetings started increasing. He was getting meetings already.
Yeah.
But when we did like Three Kings and a couple other records, then it was like, okay, we need to go.
The production value had increased. They saw, okay.
Yeah.
It's
that's why you hear, if you hear Slim now, when my name come up, it's like, yeah, Mr. Lee's the Dr. Dre, I'm the Snoop. That's our relationship. You know what I mean? That's my little brother. You know, I love that nigga to death. You know what I mean? That's my nigga.
Okay.
Man, that's dope, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Zero, and and be honest, I know you and you got a lot of catalog, but that first album of Zero versus the World, I think the movement of Houston was going during that time, but that album right there spread it across the entire.
He's from Arkansas.
South. I'm from Arkansas, from the AR. So, but with that album right there spread it to the small country towns. And what made Houston what it is today, and you know, of genius. You know, everybody like Scarface now, but man, that album. So what? And my question is, I don't like what tracks did you produce anything on that first one?
I didn't do nothing on the first time, and it's crazy enough because man, I'm out of all the rappers that I fuck with, I've been knowing Ro the longest.
Okay.
Me and Ro done slept on floors together, all kind of shit. I used to live in an apartment down the street from Ro's partner where he used to chill and make beats and do different shit.
Okay.
Ro is like a genius. He's an incredible artist, man. You know what I mean? Hands down. That nigga is just, you know what I mean? I don't think his accolades match the ability of what he brings.
He's super underrated
because he's so introverted for the longest. He kind of like, so he didn't really try to make himself bigger than he could have been. Because I feel like he could have easily made transition or made songs that were actually more tolerable for people outside of his demographic, but I feel like that's what makes him so great is he stayed in his lane and was able to be consistent for so many years. Like I don't feel like his sound ages. Like it's not.
I mean, you know what? It's a good and bad thing because I do feel like he could have stretched out nationwide more.
Yeah.
But then too, you know, what comes with that is the possibility of watering yourself down and shortening your career. That's the same thing I have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like I probably could have been. I can be still much bigger than I am. But, you know, with that, it comes a lot of bullshit that's in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know, I've been consistent for almost 3 decades. I've been getting platinum and gold records since the 90s.
Yeah.
So you got 90s, 2010, 2020.
Ain't many people can say that.
Yeah,
man.
They can't say,
especially in hip hop.
And that's what's crazy. Like, so have you in the past and throughout your career, have you turned down or just not been able to get that synergy with, like, you know, larger rappers or big artists who you like, man, y'all tried to get something together and it just like didn't work, or have you just turned down some things because of bad business?
I mean, I just don't be interested, man. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, if the cards align and I do it, then I'm gonna do it. Like me and Nip probably would have never met if his team that he was with didn't reach out to me and he had done a mixtape. That's why I contribute a lot of my success to Lil Keke and Slim, because the records that I did for them were like my portfolio.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like without that, I wouldn't have had some of the success that I've had. You know what I mean? Like I discovered Iggy Azalea. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? The Iggy Azalea used to stay in my house. You know what I mean? It's like I discovered her on MySpace.
You're like, she gonna
Yeah.
have some potential.
What was it that you saw was like, I might be able to do something with this?
I can see the talent, I can see the drive, I see all of that shit when I look at people. You know what I mean? But I think the flaw of being able to see that and the flaw of being who I am is that people think when they get when I touch them and I get with them that this shit is just gonna run and you're gonna just all of a sudden you're just gonna go straight to being mainstream right then and there. They don't look at the work and the process that's that.
You believe in development, artist development.
I
is
do
not,
not and will not move if I don't feel like that shit is right. I don't care what you say, who is saying it, why, when, or where. I will walk away from that shit if I don't feel like it's right. And that's what happened with me and Iggy. And it happened with me with a couple of people because I stand firm on what I believe in. And I have my own process, and I will not waver from that ever in life. And, unfortunately, Iggy went through a lot of different shit that she shouldn't have went through because she wasn't ready and she shouldn't have been exposed to that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So it even to this day has affected her career in the long run because she was a big household name for a moment, but she could have been a household name for a while.
Do you think it was due to who she was?
I think it was due to who she was with, people not calling her, not being honest with her and telling her, hey, this shit you doing is foul, stop doing this shit. Don't act this way, blah, blah, blah. Just not when you don't have a bunch of yes people around you, then they gonna fuck your whole shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not to say that you can't be successful with them, but that shit's gonna affect you long term
right.
eventually.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with the whole modeling stuff, all of the things that she had that, she had endorsement deals and all kind of shit. That a lot of that shit went sour because, having temper tantrums online and different shit like that. Not having nobody to tell you, hey, chill out, don't say this shit.
Right.
Give me your goddamn phone, I'm finna shut your shit down. Shit like that. I'm that nigga that's gonna do that whether you like it or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you don't like it, then we're just gonna part ways.
Yeah, and I would understand why you would say that because if you can't see somebody doing something for your best interest and you still got a problem with that, then I gotta separate myself from you.
Yeah. And it's a process, you know what I mean? And sometimes the process is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen in the process. I mean, it's hard to tell me some shit about that when you talking about a man that was on the run for 8 years, that didn't have a valid driver's license, could get picked up at any moment. That's why my success and my drive is the way it is today because it was like, okay, you're either gonna go to prison or you may get killed out in the streets doing the shit that you're doing. So, you got to struggle to eat, struggle to do this. You're looking over your back, blah, blah, blah. So every day was a success for me, just being able to do what I was doing. And then I eventually cleared my name, you know what I mean? So it's like the determination got to be there.
Right.
The discipline got to be there.
Definitely.
The tenacity of not being wondering if you're going to fail or not, all that shit plays a part. And a lot of people don't understand that it takes a lot of that shit to win. You could look good, have a bunch of shit, bunch of lights, camera, all of that shit. Mm-hmm. But if the work is not there and you really not having the determination is not honestly there, then hoes are gonna get poked in the shit. Don't fall apart.
Yeah.
Man, I know your schedule may be tight. I just want to ask one more question. I'm done. Like, how's the relationship, and how did you meet you and Mike Dean? Because I just realized maybe over the last 2 years that he was white. I used to hear Mr. Lee, shout out to Mr. Lee and Mike Dean all the time.
This is crazy because when I first met Mike Dean, I was looking for a nigga, man.
So you looking right past him.
He even got a black name.
Bro, I go to the motherfucking studio and they say, yeah, Mike Dean's there. We finna take you to Mike Dean's studio. You're going to be working, blah, blah, blah. At this time, they was working in this little warehouse that they eventually built one of the baddest studios that was in Texas there. So we work in this little bitty ass room. And Mike always was a fan of Tannoy speakers, dual Tannoy 15s. He got some in his house now. So I walk in this warehouse and I was like, okay, shit, where Mike Dean at? And, everybody was laughing and shit. I said, shit, where Mike at? It's like, shit, he right there. This is long hair hippie nigga, man. I'm like, you Mike Dean? He's like, yeah. I said, damn. You know what I mean? So, I ended up going in the studio, working in the studio he was in. I blew all type of speakers and all of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And, Mike Dean, he like a big brother to me. He allowed me to be in the space and to soak up game from him on mixing and all kind of shit. Him and Joe, John Beto, shout out to John Beto, one of the pioneers of Rap-A-Lot producers. And, I've learned shit from all three of them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm like the Black Mike Dean because I play pianos and all of that shit like he do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we have the same type of shit when it comes to that.
Cool.
I know one of the last questions I have is, okay, with everything that's going on in the social climate and everything, I know you spoke about wanting to present the art and product that actually is going to be a benefit to your culture and be a voice for your culture. But what do you think the responsibility of hip hop right now? You know, with a lot of the comments and the movements of a lot of our leading hip hop figures right now. What do you think the responsibility of hip hop as a culture and as a sound is right to us as a whole right now?
I mean, if people looking for responsibility in hip hop right now, they in trouble.
Yeah.
And I say that because everybody's living out their fantasies in rap music now.
True.
Right.
You know, some are telling what they do in the streets and all of that shit too. You know what I mean? Everything is about the same type of messages.
Yeah.
And to be honest, and being somebody that's been in this shit for decades, I don't think that the rappers are even aware of how powerful their mouth is.
Man, you can say that.
And what they saying, you know what I'm saying? And the shit that they are the agendas that they're carrying out when they don't even understand they're doing it. Even the women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't really think that they understand the power.
Because a lot of this isn't realistic that they're...
Yeah, these kids are looking at that shit and they are mimicking it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They rapping about shit that they ain't doing. Yeah. Or they going out and trying to do the shit that they hearing.
Good point.
Because half of them will be locked up.
They rapping about it, and then they're like, all right, I need to go do this.
It's like somebody giving you a crash course or some shit that they would never do. But
absolutely.
So it's kind of like how they say, Jeezy said, trap or die, but his son got to go to college. And it's like, I'm giving you, this might be by story, but I make it sound so good and appealing.
It's a difference in that shit. When you go back and you listen to Ghetto Boys, you listen to Scarface, and I'm biased because Scarface is the greatest rapper alive to me.
Hey, speak on.
I agree.
I say that shit all the time. That's my motherfucking brother, man. I love that nigga to death.
I always say pockets of gold.
Me and he was just down here last weekend before last. We played some golf.
How's
That's
he
my
doing?
partner.
How's his health
He maintaining, man.
Cool.
Good to
He's
know.
doing good.
Yeah. Cool.
And
prayers up.
Man, when you listen to their records, they were telling stories about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They wasn't
glorified. Right.
The music, get the bit. They weren't doing that shit. You know what I mean? Now this shit is in a whole total different perspective. That's why people like Kanye West is getting shunned and they making him look like a fool because his agendas that he's trying to carry out are going against the machine that put him in that position in the first place. So they trying to make his shit look crazy
because he's seen behind the veil, and that's why I kind of hate because he actually has points in, especially when it comes to the artist and being able to actually have ownership and the relationship with the machine. It kind of gets lost in a lot of his other shit because I wish you could kind of separate it. You know how they say filter out the fat, so you can get the fine meat, the lean meat. You know what I'm saying? It's because that's a perfect thing. It's like somebody who's seen that I'm worth way more than I've really been able to monetize off myself.
That's what it is, man. And I think that a lot of people are not paying attention. You know what I mean? Kanye's issue is that he has something powerful to give to the people, but he has the wrong delivery system for it.
Right.
But I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to the music industry and understanding and looking at the top pop artists. You're looking at Ariana Grande. You look at all these other pop artists and country singers, and you look at the women in their genre of music. They're not being disrespected, and their image is not being distorted through their music content and all of the shit that they do.
Yeah.
But you look at our side, it's getting distorted.
Yeah.
They are propelling that shit to the front to make it look a certain type of way, and they making it feel like if you're gonna be an artist, you gotta, if you ain't rapping about sucking on some dick or grabbing some balls, then you ain't gonna do shit.
And not to cut you off, I think that's why so many of the conscious, the Mos Defs, the Talib Kweli's, the people who actually have lyrics of unity and strong black, whatever, they don't get pushed to the front.
But they also had some of them took a step back because it was like
they took steps back and those are incredible artists, but they weren't powerful enough.
Yeah.
Right.
because they didn't embody the everyday.
Nah, when you look at Tupac, that nigga was powerful enough to do that shit. When you look at Nipsey Hussle, you listen to Victory Lap.
But it was relatability.
He spoke exactly what was going on in the way that it needed to be spoken about. He didn't propel, I'm finna get this work and I'm moving this. You know, he might have had a moment where he talked about that shit, but it wasn't like that.
He told war stories too. It's like when he talked about his brother, Big Sam, Black Sam losing the money that he buried. And basically, it's like we were fucked up. Yeah. Like it's gonna be some times. It's like he talked about those times in the Colors where he sold his car and like I basically invested in my dream.
I seen him do it.
And it's like a lot of times these dudes come into the game nowadays rich in their eyes. They tell everybody they pretty much been on. So it's like ain't nobody struggled no more. Right. Like it ain't no more struggle.
There was no grind for nobody.
The truth of the matter is, even when they own it, still struggling.
Yeah.
Right.
When you got money, if you're a rich nigga, you still struggling. I'm a rich nigga, I still struggle. You know why? Because my shit is check to check like everybody else's shit.
Right.
It's just
if you're not wealthy,
Yeah. Wealth is different.
Then it ain't. I can't go to the motherfucking dealership and say, give me 2 or 3 of them Raves. I want one of those Rolls Royce trucks. Give me 2 or 3 of them Colors right there, and I'm finna drive to my $5 million house. I ain't made it there yet.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I have not made it there yet, and it's a misconception of all of this shit. When you see the diamonds and the jewelry and the watches, we're miseducated. People don't understand that if you get a bust down Rolex, that motherfucker's not worth it's not worth the dollars that you gave.
Those not factory diamonds. Those didn't come from the Rolex.
You can't, bro. So when you customize it, that devalues the watch.
You cannot. This is what happens. You cannot take that motherfucker to a Rolex dealer and get it worked on.
Yeah,
that's one.
It's no longer their
Number
product.
2, when you drill those holes in the side of that shit, the water resistant shit is over. All of that shit is over. So the watch is malfunction as soon as you drill holes in the side of that motherfucker. So if you got in a bind and you needed to get some money back, I'll tell the story. I was going through some shit when I got divorced and I was in Houston, and I never forget this shit, man. I had a Breitling. I had paid about $37,000 for this watch. It was bust down, had the diamonds all in and shit, everything. I got in a situation and I was, trying to get my shit together. So I said, man, I got this watch. I know I paid $37,000 for it. I'm going to go to the motherfucking jeweler and, get my money so I can bounce back. Man, I took that motherfucker to the jeweler. That dude told me, yeah, man, I can give you $12,000 for it.
Damn.
Wow.
And I was like, why? He said, because the shit's got holes all in it. It's been drilled in. It's diamonds all in the shit. Now it's not worth the money that it was. Because
it'd be harder for him to resell it.
I had a certificate on it. It wasn't going to be hard for him to resell it because he ended up going to resell that shit to somebody else for $25,000.
Right.
But he couldn't sell it for the amount that you bought.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't going to give me the money back for that anyway because the paperwork and the way the watch was, the value didn't hold up. But he was going to be able to double back and get way more money. That's why he's ready to give me the $12,000 for it. And I took it. And that was a life lesson for me. That's why you don't never see me wearing no bust down watches. I don't do none of that shit because that shit is stupid.
And a lot of us don't realize that because they laugh at us when they see us walk out and they get all these bust down jewelry.
They like, we got them.
And a lot of times you're putting low quality diamonds.
Right.
If these are lab diamonds.
Man, they could be the best diamonds in the world.
And it's
just like taking a motherfucking Lamborghini and drilling a hole in the hood and sticking a Rolls Royce ornament on that bitch or putting
gotcha.
That's stupid shit. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna drill and put reflectors on the side of a motherfucking Lamborghini,
right? You won't put like
that's a good point.
Like elbows.
No, right. Why would you do that shit? You know what I'm saying?
I see the picture.
That's what that shit equates to. But we've pushed that culture. We've propelled that shit to normal shit. And that makes people say, oh, man, my favorite rapper, man, you seen that watch? I'm finna go get me one. I'm gonna save me 60 bands and go get it. You pay $60,000 for it. The minute you walk out the store, shit, you done lost about 40 of that.
Man,
45,000 of that. It's gone. You know what I mean? Like, can't do shit with that.
Man, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna stick with my leather band watches.
Shit. When you look at Jay-Z and look at them big niggas like that. Look at Nas.
You don't see that.
You don't see that motherfucker with a bust down nothing on.
Yeah.
You might see that nigga with a regular looking watch on, and I bet that bitch worth about 200 bands.
But that's why everybody's trying to get Richard Millies now and stuff like that. But it's like y'all late to the party. It's like this shit been in
in our culture.
been circulated for so long, but we finally get introduced
Yeah, we put
to
people
it.
on, man. Our culture put people on. We
Hell
make
yes.
we generate wealth for other people but ourselves.
But ourselves.
And
True story.
that's
again,
real
I know
shit.
you got to go, and I got one
good.
last
I'm
question
good.
this time.
I'm good.
Hey, and I know you're familiar with. I know you're OG, but I know you've been familiar with the versus battles.
Mm-hmm.
With your catalog of music, and we're gonna include, who you always work with, affiliated with other producers. Who you'll go against?
Great podcast.
I don't know. I mean, it's the question that came up about me going against a lot of people in Texas and in the South, and
You
you know what I mean,
bigger than that.
and niggas just don't want to see me though.
Yeah.
Who would
I'm about to
measure?
say,
But
you bigger than
nobody in Texas would measure.
Yeah.
Like you got
Hell
to
no.
Man, when you say
You
that
gotta
shit, a
go
lot of
above
niggas
it.
get in their feelings about that shit.
Right.
And I'm such a meager person. I used to not try to entertain it, but it is what it is. I mean, when you look at my body of work and what I've been able to do all these years, I'm not too many motherfuckers that been that consistent. Mike Dean is, Joe is. Mike Dean is in LA though.
Yeah.
If I go to LA, I'm gonna be on his neck.
Yeah.
And he know that shit. You know what I mean? Like
Talk
it
your
is-
shit.
It is.
Talk your shit,
it's
OG.
it's the truth, my nigga. Like if we gonna be 100 about this shit, it is what it is. I got a gospel album right now that I'm working on. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
If I was to play my gospel album and you play Kanye right now, I'm gonna
Running.
make,
You on his
I'm gonna
ass.
make him think about it.
Running
He
on
gonna
it.
think about it.
We gonna hear it too.
Shit,
Yeah,
stand
you
on
gonna
it
be
then,
like,
goddamn.
Stand on that, man.
on that.
I
He
love
stay
it.
on their neck.
I love it,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
And so, like, and that's why I really want to thank you again for pulling up on us, man.
yeah, man.
This been
Appreciate that.
my favorite interview experience by far because it's like you kind of get, enlightenment, but also like behind the scenes stories of some of the things that you've always just been a fan of from the outside. And really, before we get out of here, do you have anything that you basically have on the horizon or anything that you're working on? Or just basically anything that you just want to put out there in the universe before we conclude,
I mean, we got XMG Vision. Like I said, my documentary is coming out. We've won a couple of film festival awards already. We've been nominated for the SEA award, I think it is, and we are getting ready to release that on Netflix. We got the TV show that we're getting ready to do the casting call for. Of course, the movie by my grandfather, First Flight. We're working on that. So just a lot of different things. But I'm really just trying to empower my brand so that I can empower other people with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's really what I'm on. Of course, music is a given. I'm gonna be doing that until I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm always a student of the game and trying to learn different things. I got a gospel album called Glory coming out. I have another album that's kind of like on some Herbie Hancock type stuff where I'm playing on it a lot. And I got rappers featured on it. It's called Forever. I'm in the process of finishing that up. So, I'm getting ready to drop a lot of content real soon.
And let the people know where they can find you also, and follow
All
you.
my social media is Mr. Lee 713. My Facebook is producer Mr. Lee. And, you can hit me in the DM, email me. If you contact me, I'm one of those guys that's going to answer back.
Yeah.
Regardless of
you
what
got
it
right
is.
back to me because I ain't want to, have you here before I actually made contact. I'm old school, you know what I'm saying? So, but again, man, thank you again.
Hell yeah, man.
And for
Real talk.
everyone, if you hadn't known about Mr. Lee, do your research. But also, man, you got to give your legends their flowers while they here to smell them, man. And also, we lost another legend today in the gospel community, Rand Allen. I always said he was the soundtrack to
King
my
of the
Sunday
runs,
morning.
nigga.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That was a song I heard every Sunday morning.
What's crazy is that the intro to my album is a snippet of a clip of him preaching.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because the name of my album is Glory.
Right, okay.
So it comes on with him preaching and doing all of that stuff that he does. And then it goes into my first record on my album.
So do you have any artists that you're going to feature on there, or are you still in the works?
I do. I have this phenomenal gospel rap artist named Moses.
Okay.
That is featured on a lot of my songs. I have Slim Thug on there. I have Lil Kiki's on there. Man, I got a couple other people I can't name.
Yeah.
But I have several people on there, bro.
We're looking forward to it, man. And like I say, if you ever feel the need, you want to just come and just build, man, you got an open door. We always say once you come and, build with us as unspoken conversation, you family, man.
Definitely. I appreciate
it. And like I said, man, I salute you. I'll bow down. We can let you know because like I said, you were the soundtrack, to me. And so of my culture and especially my region. So man, episode 92, I feel like this one for the books, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Thank
doubt.
you.
And so before we get out of here, we just want y'all to know, like, you know, we kind of spoke on this. Make sure when we dropping, y'all share it, man. You know, don't treat me like your third, fourth string chick. Hey, man, don't love us in private. You know what I'm saying?
Hard.
Looking at it.
Yeah,
Love me hard.
you know, push us out there, man. 'Cause I get a lot of
man.
feedback from people saying they rocking with it, man.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. Use social media as a tool to pass along what you are a fan of, because other people might want to consume it. And so, you know, but I appreciate the support, and I thank everybody for rocking with us for 92 episodes, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
a blessing.
Yeah,
we out of here, man. It's your boy Antoine the Source.
D-boy Fresh, the charming asshole.
Man, it's knowledge, man. Keep achieving out here.
Keep elevating.
Peace and love.
Mogul and they know that. Logo on my flow mat. Courtside Chamberlain throwback match my Rolex. Everywhere I go flex. Valet park on some low shit. Whole lot of smoke in that Rory, that thing poke. Burning rubber. Wearing cameras, they was undercovers. Under pressure, made statements turned on their brothers. Never judge you, but the streets will never love you. I wonder what it come to in your brain for you to run to. One's the haters, handcuff us and maces. Call us dumb niggas cause our culture is contagious. Third generation South Central gangbangers that live long enough to see it change. Think it's time we make arrangements. Finally wiggle out they mazes. Find me out in different places. And the spoke by the door, this the infiltration. Double back dressed in blue laces. Killed Dr. Sebi, he was teaching health. I fuck with Rick Ross cause he teaching wealth. Dropped out of school, I'ma teach myself. Made my first meal on my own, I don't need your help. All black, Tom Ford, it's a special evening. City council meeting, they got Hussle speaking. $1 billion project about to crack the cement. So one of our investments has become strategic. Summer 18, man, such a season. About to make my partners look like fucking genius. We was in the Regal, it was me and Steven. We done took a dream and turned it to a zenith. Anything I wanted, everything I needed. Gotta pace yourself, it's all about your baby. You can have it all, it's all about your race. I done took my name and carved it in the cement. Flashback on that shootout at the beach, 20 deep. You tried to squeeze, your gun jammed, then they released. Blood on your teeth, how many stains? I see 3. The bitch started to panic, so I made her switch seats. Driving there, police chopper here.